Hello, and welcome to JMU's virtual open house. My name is Lexi Swinimer, and I am the Assistant Director of Fraternity and Sorority Life here at JMU. I'm joined by a panel of JMU representatives who are here to talk about many different organizations to get involved with here at JMU. To all the future Dukes, parents, and families, welcome to JMU. We're so glad you're here to join us and look forward to talking to you throughout the rest of the month. Before I introduce our student panelists, I'd like to let our audience know that the chat is open for any questions you'd like to ask. Feel free to type a question in the chat, and we'll be sure to answer live on video or directly in the chat. Now, let's meet our panelists.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kendall Walker. I am a senior international affairs major from Alexandria, Virginia, and I am here representing the Student Leadership Center as a student consultant.
Hello, I am Jo Tuckley. I am also a senior, sad times, and I am a double major in communications in French with a concentration in advocacy, and I too am representing the Student Leadership Center as a lead team consultant.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kuda Zamuda. I am a sophomore from Virginia Beach. I am a finance and communication studies double major with double minors in Spanish and entrepreneurship, and I am here representing Outriggers.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katie O'Rourke. I'm a graduate student in the College Student Personnel Administration program. I'm from Shelton, Connecticut, and I am here representing the clubs and orgs on campus and also Outriggers.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cole Scheflit. I'm a senior management major with a concentration in HR development, and I am here representing University Program Board.
Hi, everyone. My name is Megan Ludwig. I'm a senior psychology major with a minor in family studies. I am also representing the University Program Board.
Hi everyone, my name's Callie Fowler. I'm a senior IDLS major with a minor in elementary education, and I'm here today representing fraternity and sorority life.
Great, thanks for introducing yourselves. Looks like we've got a question to answer, and if each person from each group that you're representing wants to answer this, tell me a little bit about the department that you're representing. So let's start with UPB.
So our department is a student-run organization. We plan a lot of social and educational events on campus for students, faculty, and community members. A lot of our most popular events include movies in our Grafton Theater that we have, and then we also have normally we have a concert in the fall and the springtime, and we have a comedian come in once a month and late night breakfast once a month normally. And we just have a lot of events trying to get students more involved in on-campus activities.
Great, thank you. How about Student Leadership Center?
Okay, so I can explain that. So the Student Leadership Center is an organization on campus where we essentially provide resources for leadership for students on campus and for student organizations. And we also have things along the lines of strengths coaching, strengths assessments to try and better attain where your strengths are. And we help you get more attuned with your strengths and how to proceed within your time here at JMU. And we give a lot of presentations.
And Callie, you want to tell us a little bit about fraternity and sorority life?
Yeah, so fraternity and sorority life at JMU oversees all of the fraternities and sororities that are on JMU's campus, and we actually have over 30. So it's a lot to oversee, and Greek life offers a lot of opportunities to get involved with philanthropy, community service, and just building really strong friendships that will last way past college life and are great for networking as well.
Katie, I saved the best for last, but you can also answer our next question that came in, which was, how do we find ways to get involved at JMU?
Sure, yeah. So first I'll talk about Outriggers. Outriggers is a program through our Student Activities and Involvement Office that helps student organizations operate effectively. So we train in facilitation, and it's a really fun way for students to get involved, and for clubs to get involved with the office. To find ways to get involved at JMU, each semester we hold a student organization night, and so that is an opportunity that a lot of clubs will come. Almost all of our clubs are represented in this fall, and they host booths that talk a little bit about their organization, and there's a way to sign up and get involved that way. There's also a program through the Student Activities and Involvement Office called Find Your Fit, where you can meet with a professional staff member or a student representative through our office, to meet one-on-one with you and look through some of the things that you're interested in, and be able to pair you with an organization. And what's really cool about that is that you are meeting with other students or connections on campus that have a direct line to those organizations. So it's kind of a fast track way to get involved.
Thanks. So the next question that came in is, what is Greek life like at JMU? And do I need to join to fit in? So I am going to explain Greek life at JMU, and then I'm going to let Callie answer about do you need to join to fit in? So Greek life at JMU is comprised of 3 different councils. We have our Interfraternity Council, which composes our NIC fraternities. We have our Panhellenic Council, which oversees our Panhellenic sororities. And then we have ICGC, which is our Intercultural Greek Council. And that council is advised out of the Center for Multicultural Student Services, and they oversee our culturally based fraternities and sororities, including NPHC, which is the Divine Nine, and we have 8 of the 9 on our campus.
Yeah, so as far as whether you need to be involved in Greek life to fit in at JMU, you definitely don't if you don't want to. JMU Greek life composes about 20% of the student population, so we definitely have a strong presence, but there are a lot of people who aren't involved in Greek life as well. I would say that Greek life is an excellent opportunity if you find that sometimes it's hard to find your group of people or hard to get involved. Greek life offers a great way to meet a ton of new people, but we also have a really strong focus on academic achievement, philanthropy, community service, things like that. So if you are interested in joining Greek life, it can make for a really well-rounded experience in college.
Thanks, Callie. I don't know, Cole or Megan, if you would like to talk to us about the concerts on campus. Are they free to attend for students, and anything else you want to share about that?
Yeah, of course. So the concerts are on campus. In a normal year, we have 2, one in the fall and one in the spring. And the fall one is usually in Memorial or Wilson Hall, and our spring one is in our Convocation Center. They are not free for students, but they are discounted. So it's a little bit cheaper than the community member fee for the concert tickets, but they are discounted for students.
So if each of our students wants to answer this, because you each probably handle this a little bit differently, is how do you balance clubs and classes? Is it hard during freshman year? If you want to talk about anything about sort of your freshman year experience, like Katie said, finding your fit, it's not always immediate. So we can just kind of go down our order that we started with for introductions.
Yeah, I love this question. I think as a senior, it's taking me a little go around to find a balance between clubs and classes. Starting with my first year, I think I took a semester to focus on my classes to find myself, get that niche, get my studying together, talk to my professors. And once I got that down, I said, okay, I love that. Let me go and get involved. And I think since the second semester of my first year, I kind of hit the ground running and being involved with a lot of things on our campus. I think the right thing to do is kind of you're a student first and then your activities come next. Definitely having a planner definitely keeps me in line to make sure I have everything done. And like everyone says that, but for sure, I was so against the planner at the beginning of my first year. But now that I have one, I live by it and I swear by it. I also like in the student activity in our office, our SLC, my boss makes fun of me because I love Post-it notes, but that just keeps me like on task because once I'm done with something, I just take it off. But just find your niche and find something that you are passionate about, and everything will kind of fall in line from there. But don't feel like you need to be rushed into finding a club from the start. And if you do, that's great. Just finding a community here is important, but you are a student first. So that's my perspective.
Yeah, I kind of did the opposite of Kendall when I first got here. So I joined as many clubs as I possibly could, and I realized that that's not conducive to a full-time student schedule. So I had to cut back, and it's okay to think that you found your group, but then take a step back and realize maybe this wasn't the group for me, and like reassess and see where you are and figure out the best thing for you in that moment. That's what I did, and I have been doing a lot better now. I'm in a few clubs, a few classes, like several classes, but my planner is my lifeline. And I think you asked if it's hard during your freshman year. I think it's a transition from high school. It's been a minute since I've been in high school because I'm a senior now, but I will admit that it's not as scary as it all sounds. It really isn't.
Yeah, for me, I think I found a happy medium between Joe and Kendall. I definitely went out and I joined a good amount of organizations. I really thought through coming into JMU. I thought through what I really cared about and what really interested me. And then when I got here, I really began to seek out, like Katie was talking about at student organization night, what different organizations really interested me and what things I felt like were missing from my classes. So I was able to go about really finding that. In terms of balancing, I found for me that having a like weekly planner is really stressful because I want to knock things out as I see them. So every day I make essentially a new planner sheet where I organize in like 4 different ways. I write the same exact thing, essentially, it feels like, so that I can really see what my goals are for the day. And I found that is really helpful. And like Joe was saying, it's really not that scary. It's a little bit of a transition.
Yeah, so my freshman year, I really wanted to get involved, but I just didn't know how to as a freshman. So I just focused on academics strongly and did all my classes. And then I didn't join the university program board until my sophomore year. And it definitely was an adjustment to get the balance between classes and clubs, but I use my phone calendar as like everything, like every single assignment, anything, any meeting, any Zoom meeting I have now, it goes straight on my phone calendar, and I have reminders set so it will pop up on my phone 2 minutes or 5 minutes before. I'm like, okay, Cole, you got to do this. So it's definitely a balance, but it's definitely doable. It's not as scary. Just you have to take some time to find where you fit in, and you'll find your people.
I'm very similar to Cole, where I didn't get involved my freshman year either. I joined one organization and I didn't really find my place there, but I just took that first year to kind of find myself as a student and how I was going to engage in my academic career. And I worked on being organized in that realm of my life. And then my sophomore year, I joined UPB. And at first, it might have been a little difficult, but I think once you get the hang of being organized in all your classes and that sort of thing, it's an easy adjustment to be organized in your clubs and organizations as well. And similar to what everyone said, I also have a planner. I'm a big to-do list type of person. So if you see my planner, it says to do, and I just list them all out, and then it's so satisfying to cross them out. It's probably my favorite part of the day. But yeah.
Yeah, I would say I'm pretty similar to Joe. The minute that I stepped onto my dorm freshman year, I joined like 3 clubs within the first week of orientation, and I quickly realized that that was just not possible or healthy in any way. So my biggest tip would be don't be afraid to join a lot of things early because it'll help you narrow things down, but also don't be afraid to leave organizations if you find out that they're not the perfect fit for you. So feel free to go to that interest meeting or go to that first chapter, and if it doesn't work out, that's okay. You still put yourself out there, and chances are you'll still make some friends from that organization, even if you don't stick with it in the future. And then as far as balancing goes, I'm definitely a planner too. I have my planner right next to me right now, actually. But my biggest tip as far as planners go, I have a really bad habit of writing down every single thing that I need to do for that week in a single day. So I'll try and get my whole agenda for the week done on Monday. And that's just a very unrealistic expectation of myself, I think. So I would say be very diligent when you're writing things out. Don't expect yourself to finish everything in one day, because that's just being way too hard on yourself. And then a tip that I do that I really like is I'll write down 3 goals in my planner every day that I know that I can knock off right off the bat. So I might put in my planner, check email or make bed or vacuum room, really simple stuff that isn't hard to do. And just being able to like highlight that off first thing in the day really like gets your system going and makes you feel like not as overwhelmed with the list of things that you have to do.
Yeah, and I think some of the things that you all are sharing, and it's different for everyone, but one thing that's different for many students is that in high school, you're often a part of many clubs, but in college, that isn't always the best way to manage your time. And so even when you're coming in and joining them all, like Callie said, finding your fit is really important, and what you're going to spend your time and how you're going to spend it. So Sarah has a question for us that I think Callie can help us answer. What kinds of community service do sororities do?
Sure. So each sorority and fraternity has their own national philanthropy. So, for example, my sorority's philanthropy is Ronald McDonald House, and they differ from sorority to sorority. No one's is the same. So that is a really good way to determine which chapters you might be interested in. You can look at their philanthropies. They're all posted on our website or on the sororities' social medias or the fraternities. And finding organizations that you really like, such as St. Jude's or CASA or something like that, that can help you narrow down your list a lot. And then as far as community service goes within the organizations, a lot of sororities will do, and fraternities will do fundraising events for their national fraternity or national philanthropies. Some are actually able to go to their philanthropy and do community service there on the scene, which is really meaningful. And then we also do local work in Harrisonburg as well. So IFC and Panhellenic, those are the governing bodies of fraternities and sororities at JMU. They also have Panhellenic and IFC philanthropies that are local in Harrisonburg. So, for example, Panhellenic's is a domestic violence women's shelter that's downtown, and women have a lot of opportunities throughout the year to support those organizations and even go help out if they want. So there's definitely a lot of more national-based and locally based community service opportunities.
And I'll add to that our organizations also support each other in their philanthropies and service activities. So oftentimes there's opportunity to do a kickball tournament or participate with your brothers and sisters at dance marathon for the children's hospital. So there's lots of opportunities amongst the groups to participate as well. Katie, can you talk to us about how you can start your own club at JMU?
Yeah, starting your club at JMU is actually really easy. All you need is an original idea and a few friends, and you will fill out a very simple form saying that you wanted to start this club. And then we have a creating excellent organizations training. So we call it a CEO training. And it's just 2 or 3 quick meetings about what club life looks like here at JMU and kind of the back end logistics that you might need to know. And then once you complete that and write a constitution, your club is official.
Great, thank you. Kendall, can you help us with a question about, does JMU have SGA?
Of course. So I think a lot of us hold different hats and different organizations on campus. So I serve on our leadership team for our Student Government Association. We currently have around 120 members. We just got new members yesterday. So that is amazing. So our student government, as we are the voice for our student body, we pass resolutions, bills that kind of reflect if you are not feeling so you want some change on campus and you want a voice of leaders, and student government is your place. We do hold different events for November for our election season. We're having Duke's debate. So we have different students that will argue for the right, left, and libertarian parties. So we all encompassing, we accept everyone, all voices. So student government is really big on our campus right now.
Great, thank you. So here's a question that came in. Maybe Joe or Kuda want to answer this, or anyone if you have something to add. Do students stay on campus during the weekends, and do clubs meet on the weekends? So what your experience with that is.
Yeah, I can take this. So it depends on your club. There are some clubs that do meet on weekends. There are some that only pretty much exclusively meet on weekends, including there's one club where they get together on the weekends and then they go to Massanutten, which is pretty close by, about 25 to 30-minute drive away to, ski or snowboard or whatever. So there are a lot of orgs like that do meet on the weekends. And I would say a fair amount of students do stay on campus on the weekends. Like Megan was talking about earlier, UPB holds a lot of different events throughout all the year. So there's always things to do on campus, whether it's through that, whether it's fraternities or sororities that are hosting fundraising events or anything, or things that are relating to your own organizations as well.
Great, thank you. Katie, do you want to talk to us about clubs that directly relate to majors and academics?
Yeah, there's a whole slew of clubs that relate directly to clubs or to academics. We have like French Club, and there's a whole slew of business clubs. And basically any major that exists, I'm pretty sure there's a club for it. And what's really cool about that is that the advisors are a professor in the academic major. So it's just an opportunity to get to know one of the professors in more of a informal setting within your major. So it's definitely something to check out. And I think a lot of students utilize that. I don't know if any of the students on the call want to talk about their experience with that.
Are any of you in clubs related to your major or academic interests?
Actually, yeah, I can take this. So one of my majors is French, and I am a member of the French Club, which is really great because I get to have connections and network with my French professors. And I also get to just meet people on campus that speak French, and we can have a lot of open discussions. It's actually how I figured out what I would like to do after I graduate this next year. So it's a really great way to get your feet on the ground.
All right, looks like we have another question about sororities. Would you recommend sororities to someone who is very shy, introverted?
If you are somewhat interested at all, I say go for it. Recruitment is a very crazy experience, but I would say it's worth it if you're interested at all, because you can always drop out of the process later if you find out that it's not for you, but you have nothing to lose by trying it out and seeing if it's something that you're interested in. And as for myself, I was very shy and very introverted when I first got to JMU. And I just want to emphasize that there is no specific type of person for any sorority or fraternity. You don't have that stereotypic super bubbly, super outgoing, super loud person to be in any sorority or fraternity. Each group is a motley crew of different majors, different personality types, different friend groups. So you can definitely find your tribe within any organization in Greek life, I would say. And please don't feel that you have to put on any sort of front whenever you're going through any of these processes. My number one tip would be to be your most genuine self at all times, because if you are really yourself when you're meeting with these people, and that goes for any club really, as long as you're genuine, you're going to find people who relate to you on a really deep level, and you'll make some really meaningful friendships.
Thanks, Callie. Now we have a question about advice for finding your place at JMU. Anybody want to jump on that one? Cole, I'm going to pick you.
Of course. So I kind of echo what Callie just said. My personal philosophy in everything is just be your authentic, true self. So I think if I could give any advice to any incoming or prospective freshman, just be yourself, be authentic to yourself, stay true to yourself, because if you're being who you are, the club you will find, your people you will find, what you're interested in, and just putting yourself out there. I know freshman year can be a little bit scary sometimes, but just getting involved is all you can do, and like you will find your people. Just be yourself, and that's all you can really do.
Great, thank you. So looks like we have a question from Brooke. What are some fun traditions that are held on campus for students throughout the year? Maybe Megan, if you want to talk about some of the fun traditions, and then coming from like the UPB side, and then Kendall, you can talk to us about some of SGA's traditions that happen throughout the year.
Okay, so for UPB, we have 4 different committees. We have the Spirit and Traditions, which is what I'll talk about first. And that's basically where we have our late night breakfast, which happens once a month all throughout the school year. And it's where we serve free breakfast food to our students on campus. That normally occurs in festival. And then we also have a comedian once a month, which is also a tradition for UPB. Happens once a month all throughout the year. And like I said earlier about the concerts that happen once a semester, and then our movies happen like almost every single day of the week, Wednesday through Saturday normally. As right now it's a little different, but normally that's how it is. And then we also, so that would be our film committee, does the movies, and then we have a special events committee, which they don't really have any traditions. They just do kind of special events. Some fun stuff happens in there. And then we have Amplify, which does the concerts. So those are kind of our traditions for UPB. And we're always open to making new traditions. So
some traditions from the SGA side. Normally during homecoming, which is a really fun time of the year, we have something called Purple Out. And so it's basically a huge event on Hillside Lawn. And you get a purple shirt because normally for homecoming games, you wear purple. Unfortunately, with COVID, we do not have homecoming, but hopefully sometime soon we do have that event because it is really lively and really fun, and you get to meet a lot of people, painting different things. I really 10 out of 10 recommend Purple Out. For our colder months, we have a Christmas tree lighting that is held by our class councils. So we have a huge Christmas tree that's lit on the quad with purple and gold, of course. And we have hot chocolate, and I believe there was some entertainment. And normally your class councils will have different activities that will go on throughout the year. So I know senior year, there's different things of like going through Main Street for different restaurants for seniors, the countdown to graduation. So there's a lot that happens for different classes. So definitely tune in to the SGA social media page to find more information out for your different class or just for the student body as a whole.
Yeah, and of course, like everybody, we are learning how to apply our traditions in new ways this year. So not everything looks the same, but we're still finding ways to do that. So we also have weeks of welcome at the beginning of the school year, and that's another way to kind of find your fit. Very popular is the T-shirt from the Alumni Association at an event called Dukes from Day One, where it has our fight song on the T-shirt upside down. We also, in fraternity and sorority life, a very big tradition is Greek sing, which happens in the spring. And that is where each organization has puts together a dance or routine and performs. And that's also a philanthropy event for the ARC in Harrisonburg. And we have raised lots of money for them over the years. I think Callie, am I correct that we met the $100,000 mark for them last year in our years of raising money for them, I think. So, so those are a lot of fun traditions that happen here. So another question that we had was about events in dorms. So I don't know, anyone here been an RA or is an RA? All right, well, just speak from your experience then as a student and the events that happen in your dorms. Joe. Kendall, go.
I can get just a little tidbit. I worked for orientation 2 summers ago, so working with different RAs. There are some events in the dorm, and they come. I don't remember what they're specifically called, and there are people who run different. It's like a president, vice president, different positions in the halls. So you will have the CAB. I don't remember what it stands for. Thank you, Katie. You read my mind. CAB, but I don't know what CAB stands for, so that's probably not helpful. But you have CAB.
community advisory board, maybe?
Yes, thank you, Lexi. Oh, I love the input. So you have CAB and they'll put on different events, but your RA will put on some events throughout the year. So I know sometimes like it'll be a pizza party, a movie night. I know my first year we had pumpkin painting. So there will be events, you know, to meet different people in your dorms besides your roommate.
All right. So another question that we have is it hard to live on campus without a car freshman year? So I don't know. Maybe raise your hand if you had a car freshman year. Nobody, because it's not very common to have a car freshman year at JMU. So let's see. Who haven't we heard from? Kuda, you want to tell us? Oh, Joe, whoever, just jump in.
So I did not have a car my freshman year, and it worked out great. I ended up using the buses that JMU has, the Harrisonburg bus system. They work just as fine as a car. If anything, it's a lot less of a hassle than having a car, and you don't have to pay for gas. So that's one thing that I really wish I didn't have to worry about anymore. But yeah, I think that it's very, very manageable without a car.
Great. All right. So now I would love for each of you to go around and tell us, what do you love about JMU and any advice you have for a student who's considering applying to JMU? We'll go with our same order from introductions.
Okay. What do I love about JMU? I think, as everyone on this panel has said, I think there's such a place for everyone on our campus. Any group that you identify with, that there is something for you, and really kind of find what you're passionate about. I think that JMU kind of creates a space to find your passion, to find who you are, and gives you that space to find who you are. I really kind of was skeptical coming in my first year, but I found my place, and I'm so grateful that I found my place in where my passions are. So I really enjoy that. And so my advice for students applying, you know, put yourself out there. Never say never. Never doubt yourself, because you are you. You're unique you, and you never know where that kind of putting yourself out there might take you. So just take hold of every opportunity and be yourself.
So as corny as it sounds, I have never been as comfortable with being myself as I have here at JMU, and that is probably my favorite thing about JMU. I had always been a little skeptical of being my full me, but it's so much more fun to be yourself and to be authentically you, as everyone else on this panel has been saying. And I have made some of the best friends in my life here. I could not imagine my life without these past 4 years being on JMU's campus. And it's so sad to think that I'm graduating this May. And I think that any advice that I would have for someone considering applying is just do it, like Nike. You got it. Why not? The world is your oyster, and JMU could be the place where you find where you're meant to be. That was very corny, but yeah.
Definitely agree with what Kendall and Joe have been saying. I really think that, like Kendall was talking about, you really can find any kind of interest you're looking for in any organization. We have everything from a chocolate milk club to a lumberjack club to a soccer. So literally any medium you're looking for, you're able to find. And no matter what you decide to choose, if you come to JMU, you'll be able to find that special sense of community, which I think is what sets JMU apart as an institution, is how much we all care for each other and how interconnected we all are. A piece of advice that I would give to anyone considering applying, whether it's here or anywhere in general, just take time to think about what you're interested in, what you're passionate about. If it's something that you don't think your major will necessarily be able to fulfill, like a service aspect, think of a way that you could still find ways to do things that you care about. And I think that's really what college is all about.
like everybody said, something I love about JMU is how nice everybody is. Being an out-of-state student too, I think it was really awesome to find my place at JMU, just by how friendly everybody was. The other thing I really want to echo is that the Shenandoah Valley is so gorgeous, and I think walking across campus and looking at the mountains and seeing the sunsets from East Campus is something that is second to none. I think it's gorgeous here. And being from Connecticut, not knowing anything about Virginia, I think it was a really awesome place to be. When I left JMU after visiting, I told my mom, I was like, I hope I get to see this place again. It's so pretty. And so my advice to anybody applying is take an opportunity to come see campus. It's so, so gorgeous. And take a look at all those mountains that you get to watch going to class. So.
I love this question so much because there are so many things I love about JMU, but if I had to narrow it down, I think, like everyone else said, the sense of community is just out of this world. I remember I never even scheduled a tour. I just came with my parents before I applied. And as soon as I stepped on this campus, I said, Mom and Dad, I'm going here. I'm applying here. I'm going to be a student here. And I went home that day. We just walked around campus, just me and my parents. And went home, applied, and I applied nowhere else because I knew I was like, this is my home for the next 4 years. I have to be here. And like as an out-of-state student like Katie, I'm from Maryland, so it's not that far, but like it was a risk, but I knew I had to go here because people are so friendly. The friends I've made at JMU are like no other. I remember like because I am from Maryland, so none of my friends came to JMU, none. So I was by myself. I knew I had to completely put myself out there to meet people. And I've met some of the most amazing people in my life. So any advice to people considering applying, like Joe said, just do it. Don't ever doubt yourself, just do it.
Okay, so I think what I love most, like Cole said, there's so many things I love about JMU, but I think the thing that I love most about JMU is that they have so many options for us as students, options and opportunities in your majors. Like, I know I did a lot of stuff for my major, and I also did a lot of stuff like involvement just on campus. So there's just a lot of opportunities for us as students, which is really exciting and something that I was really like hoping for in my college career. I will say any advice I have would probably be like stepping out of your comfort zone. Because I know when I was applying to college, I was looking at mostly small schools. So like JMU was the only big school I looked at. And I was very nervous about actually ending up here. But I decided to take a chance, step out my comfort zone, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Best decision I've ever made. And I think there's something magical about stepping outside your comfort zone because you just grow as a person. And I think me coming to JMU, I really grew as a person because when I came here, I was the quietest person you ever met. And now you just can't stop me from talking. So it's just one of those things that comfort zone's a really important thing. So.
Yeah, for me personally, I went to a very small high school, like graduating class of 120 small. So coming to JMU was kind of a culture shock, but my absolute favorite thing about JMU that I recognized the first day of move-in and up until this point is just how welcoming everyone is. I was honestly kind of terrified when I came to campus just because it was so much bigger than anything I'd ever experienced before. And I didn't expect for it to feel like home and for everyone to be so welcoming right away. But they were, and they have been for the past 4 years. So that's my absolute favorite thing about JMU. And any advice that I would have for people considering applying, just go with your gut feeling when you're applying to schools. For example, JMU actually wasn't my first choice before I had visited it. I was dead set on another school, and my parents kind of just dragged me to JMU to kind of check it off the visit list. And after that visit, I had completely done a 180 and changed my mind. I knew that that other school wasn't for me because as soon as I stepped onto campus, there's just this electric energy that you'll feel right away. So going off of what Katie said, if you have an opportunity to visit, please do, because that atmosphere is something that you can't replicate in pictures. It's just impossible to describe.
Yeah, I think what we're all kind of alluding to is one of the things that makes JMU so special is the people. And that's what makes it so unique and makes it special to visit. And I assure you, if you're trying to make a visit, even if you're like Cole's family and you just want to come with you and your parents or some friends, grandparents, that you could stop any student on campus and they will be excited to tell you all about campus, point you in the direction of their favorite landmarks, and where to get the best brunch, E Hall or D Hall. That's always the debate. So thank you all so much for joining us today. This concludes our discussion about student activities and involvement. If we did not get to your question, please email us at admissions@jmu.edu and we'll get an answer for you. Also, be sure to stay tuned over the entire month of October. Be sure to check out the entire schedule of events on our website at jmu.edu/open house to stay engaged with any academic areas that you are interested in.